There was a very influential paper published in 2002, just as knowledge management was coming into vogue. And the paper was called The Nonsense of Knowledge Management. It was written by a professor of information science at the University of Sheffield called Tom Wilson. And his argument was basically, what we call knowledge management is actually information management. And it's just been badged knowledge management by consulting firms and technology vendors to make it appear more sexy, because the information management side of the house is just boring and doesn't seem to be working. So we come in with a new solution. So they're basically a land grab. The knowledge management people have come in and seized the territory and renamed it for information management. And arguably the same could be said for the knowledge management and data management side of the house today. And we're looking at the showcase, for example, the AI, ML, data science side seems to have expanded in relation to pure play, if there is such a thing, knowledge management applications and so on. So the question here is, do knowledge management, information science, data management, data science, do they have their own territories and can be clearly distinguished? Or are they fated to be struggling over the same territory?
I think it very much depends on what functions are in the organization and what organization is focusing on. 10 of my federal customers did not have knowledge management practice, right? Some of them did not have information management practice, but it doesn't mean that knowledge management and information management is not happening.
But what should they be doing? What do you think? I mean, should they be bringing in knowledge management practices, or are their information and data management practices sufficient to solve the problem? Do we really need knowledge managers? That's a very dangerous question to ask in the room where the majority are knowledge managers, but never mind.
I think, again, it very much depends on the need. And what the need is to define what needs to be improved and what the desired outcomes are. And then I actually think that every time you create a function, it creates the borders. It's like the same with the projects,
right? It creates?
Borders.
Okay, yes.
Fences.
Yes.
And then people within the fence become very defensive and very protective of their territory. So I don't have the answer, but I do know that the more multi-disciplinary teams are, the better the outcomes will be.
So you would be in favor of data and information and knowledge in the same teams, addressing common problems?
I'm not sure what the perfect model would be. I think, again, it depends on the situation, but I do feel that a lot of the disciplines will be merging, should be merging to enrich each other.
Okay. Assuming that they can talk to each other, that they can understand, use the same language and understand what they mean by it, which is by no means true. Have any of you come across instances where data management, information management, any combination of those three have been in competition with each other within an organization, without naming names?
And for us, it's not a competition. It's really a collaboration. We are actually, in fact, creating a job family of knowledge managers, communication experts, and information managers. Data science is a bit nascent in the Asian Development Bank, but that is also increasing. And we are using, I think it does depend who you speak to. So you can speak in the language of the data scientist or the information scientist or manager or the knowledge, or from the knowledge management perspective. So different organization companies have different tasks, so you might also want to put more effort into one or the other, right? Depending on what the purpose is of the of the organization. So I think you can make also some parallels to medicine, where you would have the laboratory, the laboratory expert, right, who looks at blood and, you know, takes, you know, does diagnostics, and then you have someone who maybe is a radiologist who looks more at information, and then you still need someone who makes sense of it and brings different disciplines together and make sure the patient changed behavior and learns something and is connected to others. So maybe that's more of the role of the knowledge manager.
So that goes back to something you referred to, which is kind of an orchestrating role for knowledge management.
I mean, so in my time in this industry, which is about 25 years, we've worked with lots of different clients. So I've seen situations where, yes, there is strong competition for resources between functions, and others where it's more balanced. I mean, balance is kind of where we need to be. You know, if a human everything is competing for resources. Nations compete, people compete, departments compete, and so forth. But you know, if a human put all of their effort into acquiring water, they would starve of food and die. And if they put all of their resources into food without water, they would starve and die. We need a balance of these things, and the specific things we're talking about, the mix of KM and information science and management, and data science and management, they're all kind of, they're all needed.
In different proportions, depending on the need. That was your...
Yes.
Depending on what the specific need is.
Yeah. I mean, some organizations are going to be very data-centric and data-driven, and others are going to be less so. But if the territorialism, this was your primary theme for this bit, territory, if the territorialism is untamed, then you can win a war and, win a battle and lose a war, because your gains will diminish the overall effectiveness of the business. So, you know, I think awareness that you need all of these different things among all the different disciplines would be a healthy place to be.
Right.